Bonjour to all Francophiles and students with a passion for the French language. Welcome to another episode of my podcast, French Class Teacher, dedicated to learning French. Today we are diving into one of the most commonly used verb tense, le passé composé. Stay tuned to find out when and how to use it and, of course, how to master it. Le passé composé is to be used to talk about a specific moment in the past unrelated to the present. For a specific moment, dimanche dernier, je suis allé au cinéma. For last Sunday, I went to the cinema. For a repetition, je suis allé plusieurs fois à la plage cet été. For I went several times at the beach this summer. Or for a succession of events, je suis allé en ville, j'ai rencontré Pierre et Marie. Nous sommes revenus ensemble. I went to town, I met Pierre and Marie, we came back together. Now, how to build it? We use the auxiliary être or avoir in the present indicative, plus the past participle of the verb to be conjugated. Example, j'ai fait les courses hier après-midi. I did the shopping yesterday afternoon. But how to choose between être and avoir? All pronominal verbs are conjugated with the auxiliary être. To remind, pronominal verbs, of which there are several categories, are verbs that are constructed with a reflexive pronoun. Me, te, se, nous, vous, of the same person as the subject. This pronoun is always placed before the verb. Here's some example. Se laver, to wash. Je me lave, tu te laves. Il, elle se lave. Nous nous lavons. Vous vous lavez. Il, elle se lave. Another example. Se peigner. Je me suis peigné. Combing my hair. I am combed. Certain verbs only exist in the pronominal form. These are the mainly pronominal verbs. Among these verbs, the most used are s'exclamer, to exclaim, s'en aller, go away, se souvenir de, to remember, s'accroupir, crouch, se méfier, to distrust, se réfugier, to take refuge, s'absenter, to take time off, s'arroger, to arrogate, se désister, to desist, se repentir, repent, s'abstenir de, to abstain from, s'écrier, to cry out. The verb souvenir, to remember, does not exist. There is only the verb se souvenir, which is therefore a verb essentially pronominal. Je me souviens des jours heureux. I remember happy days. Let's see two more examples. Il se réfugie sous un toit. He takes refuge under a roof. Vous vous êtes abstenu de dire ce que vous pensiez. You are abstained to say what you thought. Other verbs conjugated with the auxiliary être, and you will also find their conjugation in the cheat sheet. Aller, venir, entrer, sortir, naître, mourir, arriver, partir, retourner, passer par, rester, tomber, monter, descendre. With the auxiliary to be, the past participle agrees with the subject. So if the subject is feminine, add the letter E. If the subject is plural, add S. If the subject is feminine and plural, add a S. Now let's see the verb conjugated with the auxiliary avoir. All other verbs, but there are still exceptions. So, for example, with avoir, monter, to go up. J'ai monté son sac. I took her bag up. Descendre, go down. J'ai descendu mes affaires. I took my things downstairs. Rentrer, come back. J'ai rentré du bois. I have brought in some wood. Sorry, it is not rentrer to come back, but to bring back. Sorry. Sortir, to leave. J'ai sorti les enfants. I took the children out. Retourner, to return. J'ai retourné le matelas. I turned over the mattress. Passer, to pass. J'ai passé mon permis. I passed my driving test. Now let's talk about regular past participles. For the verb of the first group, simply transform the ER into E. Example, parler, souffler. For the verb in the second group, simply transform the IR into E. Examples, fini, for ended, bondi, jumped, AI, aided. For the verb of the third group, it is more complicated. Here are the different endings. I, S, T, U, I tréma, E, U. Accent circonflexe. Examples. Accru, for accroître, increase, to increase. Dormi, to sleep. Mi, put. Fait, for dough. Oui, for ear. Born, net, ni. Du, duty. Past participle of auxiliaries être and avoir are for être et and for avoir eu. Examples. Ayant eu du retard, having been late, étant bien entraînée, elle a gagné. Being well trained, she won. We agree the past participle with the subject if it is conjugated with the verb to be. Elle est partie with the I at the end of partie. Il est parti, I, he left. Elles sont parties, IES. Ils sont partis, IS. They are leaving. We agree the past participle with the direct object we call COD if it is placed before the verb have, avoir. The direct object complement, or COD, is a word or group of words that joins the verb without preposition to complete its meaning. It belongs to the verbal group. It is an essential complement and cannot be deleted because the sentence would no longer make sense. The COD is always preceded by a verb. To find the COD, all you have to do is ask the question what or who. Some example here. Elle a mangé les cerises. Mais les cerises qu'elle a mangées étaient bonnes. She ate the cherries, but the cherries she ate were good. What she eats. Cherries that are after the verb, so no verb agreement. But when we say the cherries she ate were good in French, cherries are before the verb, so the verb is agreed. Now you know the general point. You know the main rules for conjugating a verb in the Passé Composé. But be careful, there are lots of things you need to know to use le Passé Composé correctly. Le Passé Composé, admittedly, it's a rather complicated tense because there are a lot of irregularities. But with practice, you won't have any problems. In any case, it's an essential tense for speaking French because it's so widely used. And if you need to book your free first lesson on my website, don't hesitate. Don't forget, you have your exercises in the sheet below, and you can also read this podcast transcription. À bientôt!